Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about sort of the overall architecture of online censorship. Now, some of my, I suppose I've been doing this for, a few years now, and I've had, I think, four, off the top of my head, I think it was four videos censored, and each time I got there's a week, I think it is, maybe a fortnight, I think it's a week where you can't upload videos as some penalty for your the crime that in this case YouTube terms of service. Now I don't think there's been a single time when the reason for the deletion and the sin binning was made clear. And in the one instance where it was mentioned, it was inconsistent, wildly inconsistent with their behaviour, in my view, the behaviour of the censors in other areas. So, to other videos. Now, I've noticed that there's very sexualized videos that have no age restriction on them, and videos that refer to gay sex, anal sex, and they're quite explicit, in my view, graphic, and I think personally I think they're inappropriate for children to be viewing, but there's no restrictions or limits on that, on the few videos have been brought to my attention, at least. So in one video I was disparaging. One video I did, I was disparaging the globalists, and I used a slang term that's very popular in New York, by the way. That the first letter is a C and the last letter is an R, and it's a slang term referring to an act of fellatio. So I'd mentioned that as in that was something that a pro-globalist person had said. Now that video was, I think it was up for maybe an hour, if that, and then it was pulled, and I was given sort of the week sin bin, and the reason given was use of a sexually explicit term. Now, I thought that was just strange. I mean, I guess I wasn't really that fussed either way, but I thought it was rather strange, given the sort of the porn and the other, even when you look at rock stars or supposed rock stars or some of the stage, some of the stage acts around these days that wear graphic sexuality and so on, and they. Those videos are fine, but I use one word and bang, that's it. So I thought the censors were, I thought it was a huge overreaction. But anyway, so what? But it was the inconsistency that. But the other three were all me criticising globalisation, and particularly criticising the very surprising and unusual electoral outcomes that favour the pro-globalist political parties. Now, just think about this for a minute. So three of the four, I think I'm right here. Three of the four videos being pulled. One was using a widely used swear word that I think is tame in the overall scheme of things, and yet the criticising globalist electoral practices has got three videos canned, and this is rather strange. Just think about this: you can criticise and say whatever you want about any election anywhere in history. The only election that you cannot criticise is a certain presidential election from a few years ago. You criticise that and point out some real factual stuff that you are not allowed to bring into question the outcome of a certain election. You can criticise you can criticise Donald Trump's 2016 electorate, you can criticize the crap out of it for as long as you can tell any lie, say anything. But if you want to bring out a factual reference to and a very obvious factual reference to another election, and the video gets canned. So just consider that for a month. Why are they so touchy about that? And if they're going to say, well, you can't bring electoral practices into question, then wouldn't that apply to every election or any election anywhere? But it doesn't. It only applies to that election, which suggests a huge insecurity. Where does that insecurity come from? And why are the online forums and platforms being co-opted by the globalists to police public opinion and public views and public debate? It seems very odd to me. Now, also, there's some strange videos around where to do with animal cruelty. Now, these videos that I don't know why people get off on seeing cruelty to animals. I don't understand it, but you can see a terrified animal tethered by a piece of wire that you can see in the video. So it's got one leg tied to, so it can't get away. And then the predator is let loose to tear it to pieces. So that the screams of this terrified animal are there, and people can get off on that shit. Now, for some reason, the online platforms don't censor that. Why not? I mean, I'd censor that. But there you go. Now, there are the reason it's got me onto this subject right now is. And someone else did another video on this, and I mentioned this some weeks ago. I'm just sort of revisiting it, where I noticed the amount of videos in Australia done by, often in their own language, so I can't necessarily understand it. And only some of them have translations on their subtitle translations. Some are done in English. But the ones that are done in English, and the few that you can get a subtitle translation on it, it's where people from India, or it could be anywhere, China, Philippines, could be anywhere, come into Australia, and the videos are how to break the law, how to cheat the system, what lies to tell if you're held accountable, how to accuse people of racism, every scam and hustle you can think of from these very poor third world, low social trust sort of countries. And how to cheat and scam the system, how to avoid paying tax, how to get under the table payment jobs, all of this sort of stuff. Chapter and verse, how to exploit the system, and all in bad faith, and much of it illegal. Even which sort of Indian labour hire firms are in on the scam. That go to this labour hire firm and they'll fix you up with this, and they'll give you fake documents. A forgery. It's the whole package, and they're on, but no one's censoring those videos. In fact, they run rampant, and they're able to do it not only here in Australia, but also all across Europe, Canada, and Britain, and so on. So this is a thing. Now, I would think that would be people putting videos saying, "I want you to break the law. This is how you can do it. These are the steps you do." I mean, goodness me. And that, that would be something you would think would be. So there's a lot of stuff. I think there's the blatantly trans and LGBTQ type, graphic sexual stuff that's out there. The obscene animal cruelty. I just don't understand that. And of course the illegality, how to scam the system, how to arrive illegally in Australia, overstay your visa, and what lies to tell to be able to stay. A complete series of educational videos on how to cheat Australia and the Australian taxpayer out of and so on. The list just goes on. And these people, of course, aren't paying tax. So anyway, there's a whole range of videos and illegalities and cruelties and underage obscenities that I would I think should be taken off the internet or taken off the platform, but they're not. But you say one word about an election, bang, it's on. You misgender a trans person, video deleted. So really, it's illegality is fine, cruelty is fine, sexual perversion is fine, but you have the wrong political opinion, and buddy, you're screwed. You've been with Tassus today, your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.